Grand rising and priming powerful beings. Shout out to you. It's the Holistic Motivator, and today I'm going to be talking about being obedient to your intuition, aka God. You got to be obedient to the God within, aka your intuition. What I mean by that is, a lot of times we've been blessed with an idea that we have not implemented, and then we ask God, please give me a solution, give me a solution, give me a solution. And like God's like, yo, run the play. Yo, run the play. So basically, this is going to be a really kind, swift, quick reminder that you kind of already know what to do. You have an idea how to do it, but there's a chance you just haven't gotten yourself to do it. This is procrastination. And as the motivator, I'm just here to empower you to get yourself to do it. And you're going to be like, okay, this is simple. Exactly. This is very simple. Look, motivation is just a shower. Inspiration is a pool. Dedication is application. Now, discipline is what makes all of this work together, okay? Shout out to you. Tap it into Ed Talks Daily. This is a podcast. If you're enjoying this episode, make sure you leave a review. edtalksdaily.com/reviews. Show us some love. If you want to donate, go to edtalksdaily.com/donate. And if you want to get continuous reminders for the podcast, text Ed Talks to my number, 561-510-9605. If you want to keep getting reminders, text Ed Talks to my number, 561-510-9605. Let's get it. Obedience. Now, obedience, we think about our parents, right? When we think about obedience, we think about our parents. Now, I have these concepts, and I'm going to bring the concept to you. There's something called your, what is it called again? The neocortex. And the neocortex, I like to say, is a lot like a parent. The neocortex, what it does is it literally gets you to do stuff. It gets you to act. Now, neo meaning, like if you've seen The Matrix, neo is what runs. Is one of the outliers. It's to be conscious. Now, the neocortex and neo has a correlation. To be conscious of what you're going to do, to be conscious of what's actually going on, and then to decide what you want to do with your life on the basis of directing yourself rather than being consciously led. In the book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil, he talks about the concept of drifting. Drifting means you get on the ocean shore of life and you let the boat take you wherever. You don't direct your boat. You don't set a destination. And therefore, you become a wandering generality, like Zig Ziglar said, which means you wander all over the place, never being meaningful, specific, like Zig Ziglar said, right? So what I mean by that is you drift on the ocean shore of life, like Napoleon said, and you become a wandering generality instead of a meaningful specific. I love to quote him because I love the personal development space. What I'm saying is, unless you're obedient to the plans or your intuition, you're going to be general. You're going to be wandering, and you're going to be very unfulfilled. So this is not just what the outcome would be if you're disciplined. God gave you an idea a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago, but the issue has always lied in your lack of obedience. It's not the fact that you don't have it's the fact that you decided not to run the play. It's the fact that you decided to ignore and you decided not to act upon what you were blessed with. So what am I going to do for you today? Remind you to act. And the reason why I'm going to remind you to act is because the lack of action is going to create a life you don't want. And I want to tell you this. A life you don't want, it ain't fun, brother and sister. Brother and sister, it's not fun. Because you're robbing yourself the life you can have. Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Let me not even talk about you. I'm not talking about you. Somebody said, you talk about me and my mama here, brother? I don't like you, bruh. I'm back. Got the sound. I don't like you. You talk about my mama, brother? Listen, I'm talking about myself. God is so amazing that he's going to show you a preview of what's to come, but then he wants to make sure that you actually do it. This is what your imagination is, a preview of what to come. Shout out to unless you're disciplined. Okay, I'm having issues with my mic today. Give me a second. I'm about to drop this word on y'all. What's going on? Both of my mics are screwed up. Yeah, be patient for me. I know you can hear without it, but I'm like a tech savvy person. I need to have the best quality of sound with my mic on. Comment some ones in the chat if you can hear me, or just say I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, say you can hear me, baby. Alright, let me see. Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, clap one. Come on. Drop a one in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a one in the chat if you can. Okay, y'all not gonna look out for me? Oh man. Can you hear me now? Alright, I'm just gonna go. We're just gonna give you this message. This is a podcast, so I gotta make sure I got good sound, or else it doesn't work. Do I have good sound? Is it high? Is it low? Can you hear me? Drop a one in the chat. Okay. Is it good? Is it low, high? Put high or low. Alright. Let's get it. I got a word for y'all today. Alright, allow me to be in service to y'all. Listen, I'm used every day to share some good, powerful messages. And if this message is for you, take it head on. Take it in your heart and your head, and apply it in your life. Oh, it's high, baby. Good. Alright, perfect. On the other side of obedience is manifestation. And I have these concepts. So your soul starts to whisper, and then as you clean out your ear, then you start hearing. What do you mean by cleaning out your ear? As you get enlightened, as you educate yourself, as you grow more, as you get more intuitive, as you lessen out the noise, you're cleaning out your ear. Right? A lot of people, they put the noise of limiting thoughts from their family members, the noise of TV, the noise of what their friends, the noise of circumstances, so they can't really hear what God is trying to tell them. And for those of you who don't believe in God, your intuition, right? They can't hear what their intuition is telling them, because everybody else is drowning their true voice. They're hearing what the government is saying, what their mama's saying, what their sister's saying, what their friends saying, what life is saying, but they're not hearing what God is saying. So the first thing has to do is you got to clean out the earwax. When I was a kid, I had to go to the doctor. They had to put water in my ear and clear out the earwax, then I could hear. Right? It wasn't that I was deaf. It was just that I didn't do the work to clean out my ear. So personal development is clearing out what? The earwax. Meditation is doing what? Clearing out the earwax. Self-awareness and growing, that's clearing out the earwax. Part of listening to this podcast is clearing out the earwax. Look, I don't give you what God gave you. what I do is, what I'm able to do is I'm able to say certain stuff that's going to help you clear out the earwax. Now, as the intuition starts to become clearer, it's always been the same. The whispers become screams. The screams of your intuition. Now you start to hear it where it bothers you if you don't act on it. So now you kind of walking around bothered, and you say, I'm unbothered. Nah, you bothered. You bothered by where you're at because you know where you can actually be. And you're not listening to what God been telling you. And for the last few years, you just been kind of like using I'm not ready as an excuse. Have you been using I'm not ready as an excuse? You know, look, an effort not to take responsibility for what you were blessed with, you just say I'm not ready for it, and you use that as a way to not do. Look, you got to do the thing ugly. Look, what transformed my life and why I'm so great and why I'm one of the best motivational speakers in the world that's just underground is because I did it ugly. I used to say I'm not ready to do this because I don't have this spirit of lack. The spirit of lack is going to keep you out of the spirit of action. Look, I'm not ready to do it because I'm not there. I'm not doing this. I don't know. And then one day I decided that I just have to do it. And by doing it, I'm getting ready. I was hearing the story of David and how David didn't really become a king till he was 30 years old. And same thing, Jesus didn't start his ministry till he was 30 years old. But prior to then, he was a shepherd. Prior to then, he mastered how to use that slingshot. Prior to then, he learned how to use Goliath's very own strength against him. He learned how to navigate it, and then he would use that in different stages of his life. Once again, because it was a preparation. Look, David may have not been ready to be a king, but he was being prepared to be a king. He started by being a shepherd, right? So I too believe I am a shepherd. Therefore, guess what? Being ready does not mean you step into the kingdom and you run the kingdom. Because if you start running the kingdom now, you might fail the entire kingdom. So guess what I'm saying? I'm saying being obedient is not necessarily you stepping into, like some of you want to be a coach or you want to do something greater than what you're doing. Part of paying homage, part of the process is you growing through it. It's you doing certain things. It's probably you just sharing your story. And then as you do that, you are then, like, the process in itself builds you. So let's dismantle the idea that you're not ready. And that's the spirit of lack. We're going to the spirit of act. Look, we're going to switch from I'm not ready to I'm getting ready. To I'm not ready to by showing up, God is preparing me. Look, the preparation process is just obedience. So an idea comes up. What do you need to do? Be obedient to the idea. What idea, if you just took your time right now and you thought of an idea that you had maybe a year, share this podcast to 5 friends and comment done. Now, here's what I'm saying. You got to run the play. God is testing your obedience, because to those who serve the few will serve the what? The many. But God want to see how well you're going to serve the few. So some people may be like, dang, Ed, you are so good. You're so powerful. Like millions of people should listen. God's been testing me. The test of character, God is like, okay, I got something for you, brother. It's really going to be big. I need you. Look, your influence is going to last decades. So to keep you there, I need to ensure that I refine you. It's a refinement process. So God is molding my character. And one of the things God told me in the dark that I'm going to start bringing to light is, and look, don't think I'm crazy, but I heard a voice. I only heard this voice twice. Any other time, look, God communicates to you in many different ways. Interventions is when he speaks to you directly, and that can be sort of crazy. I thought I was going crazy. Intervention, that's very rare, and sometimes it never happens. Another one is intuition. That's deep. An intervention is God has to intervene from a higher standpoint. He got to scare your wits off, because he got to make that message known. He can't sound it in the form of a whisper anymore, because he has to make it clear and simple. And he's going to tell you, hey, this is God talking to you right now. Don't doubt what you're hearing. This is God talking to you. You're going to hear it like that. And I was like, oh, snap. I heard that in my head, but then I also read the word. I was like, oh, this is how it happens. But anyways, he was like, man, I got great stuff for you to do. And he said, in order for me to do it through you, not only do you have to let some stuff go, You got to let some stuff go in order for you to grow. In order for me to do these things to you, through you, you got to put my name in what you're doing. And I didn't even know what that meant at that time. I was living a fast life. Sleeping in my car, drinking and smoking, going to parties, doing all types of crazy stuff. But I knew that there was a power that was bigger than me, and I didn't necessarily know how to do that, right? So I listened to that voice, but then my whole journey has just been, okay, I need to let go of certain stuff if God is going to use me. That was one thing. And then the second thing was, not only do I need to let go of stuff if God is going to use me, but at the same time, I needed to give homage to the Creator in the process of. Look, God got gifts for you, but He don't want to just give it to you and then you waste it. I was saying this. God got some gifts, like for instance, if God gave you the gift of singing, He might not blow you up till you start singing like for good. Because He's like, man, what you rapping about right now? I don't want to bring that to the world. He's like, man, I got something. It's too big. It's too big for me to waste it on that. So sometimes then what happens then, you giving challenges in order to refine your character, but then it's just your obedience that's going to reveal the trueness of how you approach it. So for me, I realized my delay is not denial, it's a refinement process that is now allowing me to operate in my gift in a way that is in service to God and His kingdom, and not just in service to my ego or my financial obligations or desires. So I'm at a point in my life where I understand business, but I understand ministry, and I'm mixing business with ministry in a way that I can build God's kingdom and I can empower people and sustain a great life for myself. And I feel that that's powerful, because if I would have made it earlier, I wouldn't have put into my art what was needed for the world. I would have put into my art what I thought that the world wanted. So God delays your process so you can give the world what is needed so you can stay at the top. A lot of people would blow up off, let's say an artist blow off of one song, boom, they made it. But that song ain't had no substance. So now they don't get that image. People don't have that following where I can feel you, because it was just so empty. So then God says, I need you to put in the reps. So you keep putting in the reps, you keep putting in the reps, you're getting better. Now when the world finally hears you, they're like, whoa. Then now you have fans for life. So you're like, yo, why didn't I blow up then? Look, if you blew up then, you wouldn't stay up there. Look, I didn't become the holistic motivator overnight. I'm the holistic motivator now, because I had to learn how to become whole. And by learning how to become whole, I'm able to put that in my speeches. And now I'm going to bring something unique to the world. I'm not just going to be this rah-rah motivational speaker. I'm giving you practical steps to live life holistically. So it's way more powerful now. This stands you among the pack. But it is through your obedience, through the whispers, that you transform. So the whispers sound like you ought to, and it's usually a challenge you have to overcome, and then you put that in your art and in your music. You got to invest your pain into your art. So somebody says, bro, I can feel your speeches. I like, yo, you really, like, the reason why it's because I'm talking to myself. It's because I'm literally putting into my process into this. So basically I am replicating the delay into this work. I'm replicating the pain and how it's I'm literally taking the blueprint that God has given me through my life, and I'm putting it in this. So once you're able to do that, it's not a process, am I ready for the world? It's the process is, as I'm getting ready, let me put that into what I'm creating. So every single day I'm creating something different and new, and it's transformative because I'm being obedient. So now, how do I listen and hear? I got to make my mind clear. Recently, I stopped smoking weed. Somebody says, you smoke weed? Of course I smoke weed. Come on now. But why did I have to stop smoking weed, bruh? Simple. I need to have more clarity to hear what God is telling me. I need to have clarity to know how to navigate. And look, and I can't toxify my body with beer or weed or anything or sex. Somebody says, even sex? Yeah, but look, because you look, having sex takes energy and effort. You don't just get in the box like that. You got to do stuff to get in the box. And if it becomes too carnal, you're not as spiritual. So we don't stop doing stuff because on the basis of morality. It's on the basis of, is this good or right for me in this moment, based on what I have to bring out. So if you're toxifying your temple periodically over time, you're not going to be able to do what? Hear what God is trying to tell you. So in order to hear and be obedient to the insight, you got to detoxify. You got to clean out your temple. So obedience also has to do with knowing what to do, letting go of your vices. You look in your mind, you hear this. You hear it like, I ought to stop doing that, because once I stop doing that, God's going to give me this. Stop doing it. It's that simple. Obedience is not just, I'm going to run the play. Obedience is not just, I'm going to share my gift. Obedience is, I'm going to let go of my vices. Most people are not willing to let go of their vices. They're not willing to take the advice and let go of the vices because they feel like, I'm going to be losing a piece of me. Nah, you're going to be gaining the best part of you. The moment you let go of the vice, you're going to get exactly what you want. Look, the moment you let go of that toxic relationship and you work on clearing your temple, you're actually going to attract that healing relationship. It's really that simple. You can't grab onto something when you're holding onto something else. And so God going to throw challenges your way to refine you in order to you to let it go so you can grow. And the moment you do it, boom, you're going to go to another level. So you don't lose when you let go. You actually gain when you let go. You let it go so you can grow. On the other side of letting go is everything that you wanted. But you got to let go. So obedience is not just running the play. Obedience is not just stepping into your purpose. Obedience is actually saying, I'm going to let go of the vices. Now, your parents may have told you that this is not good for you, because you've been around them so much, or because you've taken what they say for granted, you don't listen to them. But when life tells you this is not it, when it hits you in the head over and over, at some point you're going to be obedient, because you're going to suffer the consequences of being disobedient. Have your parents ever told you something and then you didn't really believe them up until you was in the situation, and then now you're saying, now I get it? But then you're also very happy that you didn't listen to them, because you got so much from not listening to them too, because by facing it head on, you saw it for yourself. So now you got first-hand wisdom. You didn't just actually hear what they said and you did it, and then nothing bad ever happened to you. Actually, you hear what you said, you heard what they say, you didn't do it, something bad happened to you, now you learn. It's the same thing with God. God's going to give you these insights. You ought to stop doing that. Like, you ought to stop language. You ought to stop holding around. Keep it that simple. You're like, okay, I gotta stop doing that. Yeah, you gotta stop sleeping with all these people. You got to stop doing that right now. You're like, Ed, that's kind of rude. Well, you're gonna have a rude awakening when you have 4 kids and no husband. The results speak louder than the discipline. So being obedient is not on the question of somebody trying to limit you. No, God is trying to protect you. So intuitively, you know what to do. Intuitively, you know how to do it. But now it's time for you to be obedient to that. So obedience is obedience to the discipline. And discipline is not constraint. Discipline is freedom. Look, a person who's disciplined enough in their schedule can actually free themselves to do what they want. A person who's not disciplined in their schedule actually enslave themselves doing what they don't want. So what I mean by that, to cope with life, you develop a coping mechanism, doing what you don't want to do, because it helps you at least escape from not doing what you know you need to be doing. So what do I mean by that? A lot of people, they cope instead of heal. Say they do something that they don't want to do necessarily from a spiritual perspective, because that's what they think they need at the time. Let me give you an example. Let's pick sex, for example. A lot of people actually are going through need love. They want love, and love is a need. And to get it, they don't necessarily develop self-love or agape love or connect or divine or love with God, or the love for God, or the love for life. They actually seek it by sleeping with men or women. It's just that simple. So they go from relationship to relationship, looking for something that they got to find inside of them. They never really spend enough isolation time for self-reflection and discovery. So they always Instead of isolating for discovery, they get from under one thing, they get from under one burden into another burden, right? They get from under one man to another man. They go from one woman to another woman, right? They start paying one rent to paying another rent. They never learn how to cultivate their sexual energy. They never learn how to be satisfied with their own selves. So all they do is seek love in the wrong places. And they never really get it. And in reality, if they would have spent enough time to cultivate themselves, they would have become such a being that attracts exactly what they want. Look, there's something about a woman who knows herself, who's healed, who shines light. Like, you're going to have men wanting, like, yo, because they know that once they come around, and they have a certain respect for you. As a man, I always, like, it's not all women that I meet where I'll say, like, yo, I'm going to change my entire life and give my life to this person. And, like, no, because I don't see that quality. But when I do, it's like, yo, I got to be with this person. You get what I'm saying? That's different. So if you don't heal, you're not going to attract healing relationships. You're actually going to attract toxic ones. But if you turn your toxicity to identity, that's the worst way. You get stuck. So obedience is not just you listening to what God told you. Obedience is being silent enough, long enough, single enough to find yourself. Not single in the idea of I'm single but I'm mingling. That's not single. That's hoeing around. Get mad. I love you. I love you, by the way. This is not for judgment. What I'm saying is singleness has to do with oneness. Oneness with self. Oneness with you discovering yourself. Literally, don't soak in nobody energy at all. Do that for a month, 2 months, 3 months. Go celibate. When you go celibate, you're going to celebrate. I promise you, it's going to be difficult. Now, I've been celibate. I've done celibacy for 3 years and I stopped celibacy. But then if you do celibacy and you deplete your energy, then you don't get the full benefits. Let's go back. For some reason, I'm getting pulled towards this direction. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to be obedient to this message. Okay? Because I know our generation needs it for sure. I need it. So here's what I mean. Celibacy means also that you don't deplete your energy by overstimulating yourself. That's what celibacy also means. Celibacy does not mean you stop having sex only. Celibacy means you stop using toys. Celibacy means you stop watching porn. Celibacy means you stop masturbating and ejaculating. Now, there is a concept, and we're going to go there. Of course, we're going to go there because we're all adults here. There's a concept of sexual cultivation, right? Sexual transmutation. Now, you can learn how to do that. It's probably going to be very effective. Sexual transmutation is when you get yourself to a heightened place of arousal, but you don't ejaculate. You keep your chi inside of you to transmute your chi into shin. So that way you can transmute it, and that way you can be more spiritually connected. However, somebody says, okay, I'm being obedient to this season of singleness and celibacy. But then if you're being obedient to the season of singleness and celibacy, but then you're putting EMFs in your vagina, or you're constantly milking yourself like a cow, watching pornography all day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, you're actually losing the benefit of celibacy. Because what you're doing is you're depleting your life force energy that you can be used to increase and enhance your intuition. So you must learn how to practice sexual transmutation. Now, there's a book called Healing. It's by what's his name? When it comes to me, I'll let you know. Mantak Chia. It's by Mantak Chia, and he talks about it, and he talks about how to do it, and it's probably one of the most effective things you can do. So the roses, those sex toys, and for the guys, your hands. I don't know any guys who've got to the point of buying sex toys. If you're a guy and you buy sex toys, you gotta stop, bruh. Come on, bruh. Come on, dude. Don't be doing that. Don't milk yourself like that. Okay? We're gonna keep it real. Look, this is the season to keep it real. Can we keep it real? People running away. They get scared. Well, we're gonna give the message, right? Don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. This is just a message. What I'm saying is, learn how to be obedient, and once you are able to transmute your sexual energy, you're going to enhance and increase your intuitive power. Okay? You're going to get more messages from God. You're going to be more obedient. You're going to be more prosperous. Now, when you're ready, then you get in a relationship in one accord where now you're not in this relationship because you need this other person to fulfill you. You're in this relationship because two fulfilled people came together. Two people who have learned how to be single, very good single people, come together, become one. That's what oneness is about. Two single people who've learned how to love themselves come together and they become one. Right? So this is effective. So obedience is not just you acting upon what the gifts God gave you or the ideas that God gave you. It's also about understanding what stage in your life, what vices are depleting you, and you transform your life in this way. So now I'm mentioning these things primarily because myself as well, recently I've had to learn these things myself. So what do I mean by I had to learn these things? I learned recently that if I'm going to get to another level, I got to be in my spirit and not in my body too much. I got to release the temptations. I can't be pulled by temptation all of the time, right? I can't covet my eyes or my mind or my body or my soul. Even certain shows I stopped watching. Even certain things, certain places I stopped going. Why? Because I understand that there is a strong power in what you let inside of your eyes, what you let inside of your ears, what you let inside of your body. I stopped eating certain food. So obedience comes in lifestyle choices. Obedience comes in you deciding that you're going to choose to live a certain way in accordance to certain spiritual laws and in accordance to certain principles. So obedience is not necessarily you just listen to what God told you to do with your gift. Obedience is you let go of the vices. So going back to when I heard something in my mind say, I got great things for you to do, but in order for you to do it, I cannot use you in this state. Not only do you have to let go of the certain states that you're in, you got to transform how you're being. And I got that to be, you got to live holistically, but you got to put my name in it. So God gives you an instruction in what you need to do, but he also gives you, certain rubrics, some things you have to follow, some things you have to let go, some things you have to refine. And if you don't refine it, those challenges are going to be that refinement process. So we must understand that. So let me read that. That's good, Brianna. Celibacy is essential to your journey also because sex is often a hindrance to your obedience. We cannot serve two masters. It's either you obey God or your insatiable desires. Beautifully said. 100%. Let's screenshot that real quick. There we go. So, there we go. That is so powerful. Look, celibacy is super important, right? I've done it, but I've done it wrong because I've coveted my eyes, right? I told you, I stopped. Like as a guy, I watched porn since 12 years old, and I've stopped and started. Recently, I'm like, bro, I'm slave to porn. Now, I don't want to talk about this. This is something that I'm proud of. I'm not talking about this because I want to look good. In fact, this doesn't always make me look good. But this is the truth. This is what people need. So I got to a point in my life where it's like, forget what I want. Because I know what I want. I like big booties and I cannot I like okay, relax. But I got to have some boundaries. I'm more pulled by the desires of my spirit than by the wants of my flesh. Now, because that's just who I've evolved to now. You get what I'm saying? And it's hard, it's deep, but it's necessary. Change is scary, but it's necessary. Right? Change is scary, but it's necessary. But the benefit of obedience is too powerful for you not to let go of certain stuff. Just let it go. Because God gonna bless you. Look, he said your steps will be guided. You're gonna be blessed, and like you're not even gonna be able to count the blessings. That's how much bless. Like your kids gonna be blessed by this. I want my kids to be blessed instead of killing my kids every day. You get what I'm saying? So it's beautiful. Now then again, let's go back to the other side. So Victoria, 7 years. Congratulations. Don't know how you do it, but you know what I'm saying? But then we go back to the physiological benefits of sex. Sex is natural and it's needed. So that's the other thing. And at the same time, to not have sex is also a great spiritual process. God actually says one of the best ways is to not have a partner. You get what I'm saying? So you must also figure out how to balance your hormones. You get what I'm saying? So this is the balance this is why what I do is pretty flipping awesome. Is that I have to do the spiritual with the physical. It's a holistic health. So, you know, hormonally, we can't keep your uterus. I was about to say our. I am not a female. My testicles and your uterus, right? Okay. Your uterus, you can't keep that without blood flow, right? So you got to figure out how to get blood flow. And you can do that through certain exercises and movements. You could do that through certain yoni eggs, Kegels. You could do that through other exercises. And for some people, truth of the matter is they need to have sex. So therefore, they need to become whole as quick as possible to attract that mate to have sex, in which is in one accord and it's in creation. So some of you need to actually have sex. Now, somebody says, don't tell me I need to have sex. No, you need to balance your hormones. You get what I'm saying? You need to balance your hormones, so sex is necessary, right? So to each his own, right? You have your reasons for it, right? If you're going to dedicate your life to Christ for a spiritual process, you want to be used at the highest, you might have to go without sex forever, become a nun. That's beyond me. I don't know if I can do it. Okay, you know, I want to have fire sex. I really do. I want to be so good at it. Okay, but I want to do it with my wife. You get it? Okay, so exactly, I want to do it with my wife in one accord. Right? It's just differently. I've matured. When I was a kid, when I was a child, I thought as a child. When I became a man, a real one, I put away all childish things. So now this is going to be more beautiful for me in my dating game. Now, of course, it means that I have to attract a certain type of female, because I understand that I can't be with any type of women, because then they're going to be cheating on me. And I cannot do that. Okay? I'm like, man, this guy ain't giving me any. But here's the thing. You don't have to have sex to have intimacy. And you don't have to have sex to have blood flow. So that means you can do other things with your mate to have intimacy, blood flow, and arousal. So there's different ways to look at it, you know. But this is an important conversation to have, especially with our generation. We have to be all adults here. Spirituality also means that we got to think ways to tame our carnal selves and be more spiritual, right? So I'm in this season of my life, I'm learning some of the Montauk Chia's things. How to cultivate sexual energy. How to cultivate sexual energy without ejaculation, right? So to transmute that energy into shin to use it for creation. So it's a different way of looking at it. And it's not coveting the eyes with pornography for arousal, but being aroused by your very mind. Okay? Because, you know, you could use your mind to be aroused. Okay? But that's for a different subject. But it's necessary. However, going back to the topic, being obedient. Now, I went there because a lot of people are facing sexual demons. In fact, our generation, one of the greatest attacks is the system have learned how to keep you in your carnal self through your sexual desires. So it's hard to be obedient to what God is telling you when you're stuck in carnal. And they know how to keep you down there by the music you listen to, by the shows you watch. You p-valuing it up, right? We live in a culture of city girl mentality. And I just be saying that, but where your body is worth more than your soul, right? Where your body is used as a money-making machine, and it's really horrible, right? So we got to talk about it. So obedience sometimes sounds like you working with your car yourself. But we're going to leave it here for today. This message was for somebody, and its rightful ear will hear it, and the rightful heart will feel it, and hopefully you do something with it. I'm not doing it on the basis of judgment or self-righteousness, because Lord knows I am a sinner. But I'm trying to be better every day, and I'm being better every day. And I've fasted and meditated and prayed, and I've withdrawn from so many different things. And recently I've seen temptation, and I pray some more, and God's been giving me the strength and fortitude to stay away from pornography, and from desire. Like even now Instagram trying to put so much booties on my timeline. I'm like, Instagram, I don't want to see no booties. I'm not even watching certain shows anymore. I'm on Instagram. I'm trying to stay away from all of that. Look, I need to see more spiritual. I need to see the soul of the women. I need to see soul things and not body things. So it's hard, bruh. It's not easy. This stuff is not easy to do. It's not on the basis of self-righteousness. It's not on the basis of judging you. Judge lest you be judged. So I'm not judging nobody. And look, I'm not even in a place to judge. That you see, God. Look, here's another thing. God knows how to do His thing. He gonna make you go through it, so you can't judge nobody. Cause you got the peck in you had the peck in your eye. Look, I said, look, 3 weeks ago, bro. Look what you were doing. You better not take. I'm telling you. But when you fast and meditate, you gonna always get that shift, man. And I know I'm not gonna hope anymore. Faith is something's hoped for, but I no longer wish to hope. I wish to solidify. I wish to say 3 years from now, in 2020 and in July, I did a fast, and I stopped doing so many things that transformed my life. I wish to say that, and I wish that you can say that there was a point where you were obedient to God, and on the other side of that was a life change that transformed everything for you. So, with that spirit, I want to wish you all a happy rest of your day. Remember to be obedient to what God has told you in the dark, and He will bring to light everything He has told you and promised you. That preview of what's to come is actually being created through your obedience. And the more you obey, the greater things that you will be given and blessed with. And you'll discover that you already had those things. So that's my message, and I'm sticking to it. It's the Holistic Motivator. I want to shout out to everybody for tapping in, for being part of this experience. Remember, you have the unlimited power in you to transform your life, to transcend all your limiting habits, thinking, vices, and get to another level. But you have to not only obey, but you got to confess. Look, you don't have to confess like I've confessed. Because not everybody needs to be in your business, but you need to at least confess to yourself and confess to God, and ask that you are forgiven. And so let's do that. We're going to end with a prayer. I'm switching the way I do this. Look, everybody and their mama can talk about what they want to talk about, but the moment we say, in the name of Jesus, people run away. So I'm going to say Jesus 3 times, hopefully scare some people away. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Jesus pieces. People can say the universe, but the moment people hear Jesus, they feel offended. So if I offend you, great, because Jesus is Lord, and He's done so many great things in my life. So we're going to end this with a prayer of strength and courage, primarily because there are some strongholds that we can't let go of ourselves. I tried to stop doing so many stuff on the basis of knowledge. Then I surrendered to God, and He did something. I was like, oh snap, I've been teaching it all wrong. I was like, I'm too conscious of people's feelings. Screw their feelings. Look, people gotta look on the other side of hurt is freedom. So you gotta look, some people gonna be stuck in their hurt if you don't hurt their feelings. So somebody said, you can't be a lion all the time. I said, I'm a shepherd too, but you gonna get that lion. It's in my DNA, baby. You can't sheep me, shepherd me. Oh, be all nice, kind, and loving. Oh no, baby, I got a lion. And I gotta bring the out. And if you're like, oh my goodness, I don't like that. Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, look, God ain't all. You think God is just. That's what I learned about God. People think God is just all. God spites to correct. I'm telling you, and I'm learning that. God going. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say a quick prayer. I'm gonna be unapologetically Christian. I'm gonna say Jesus 3 times. Hopefully, it says Jesus, 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 Jesus is Lord. He told me to say it. He said, "I'm gonna do great things through you, but 2 conditions." Let me say it. He said 2 conditions. You can't operate in toxicity, 1, because that don't work. He said that. And I was like, God, I know I can't, but I'm so weak. My flesh. He said, no toxicity. He said, 2, put my name in what you're doing, and I'm going to elevate you. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I was like, I'm going to say God. I'm going to say at least God. So we going to say a prayer. But anyways, okay, I just wanted to say that. Let's just get to the point. So we get out of here. Okay, Father God, I want to thank you for everybody who's listening to this podcast. Has been repeatedly tapping into Ed Talks Daily. I want to thank you for using me for your purpose and your will. Every single day, I just want to be a servant to you, Lord, and not to money, not to my flesh, not to the world, not to expectations of other people, but to you. So with that being my main desire, I ask that you help me let go of my ego so I can grow. Help me not think holier than thou. Help me remember of where I came from, all of my sins, so that I don't elevate myself higher than I am, humble myself before you and everybody, so I can be of service to them without judgment, so I can be a form of light and not a form of judgment. I ask that everyone on here you can give them the strength and fortitude to stay away from the things that's not serving them, from the energies that's toxifying their temple, so that they might find courage and strength to say no. No to the drugs that's holding them in bondage. No to the alcohol that's holding them in bondage. No to the relationship that's holding them in bondage. No to the pornography that's holding them in bondage. No to the money habits that's holding them in bondage. No to the negative thinking that's holding them. No to the resentment that's holding them in bondage. No to the fear no to all of it, Lord. Because we know that on the other side of saying no is you saying yes. And we want to be in alignment with your word. We want all the blessings you have for us. We want to co-create with you, God. Come on, you are the best creator there is. So we want to co-create with you. We want to be clean enough to co-create with you. We want to be able the type of person that can associate with you. So allow us to come into our hearts and clean our hearts, our minds, our souls. Give us the courage and fortitude to detox, fast, and pray, so that way you can come in and do the rest. Just as I had detox, prayed, and you just came in and healed so many things within me, Lord. I ask that this does not last a month, for I do not want to go back to my old ways. I ask that this does not last 2 months, for I do not want to go back to my old ways. And if I may fall along the journey for a day, allow me to get back up the next day, because what you said, fall 7 times, get up what? 8th. So I want to keep getting up, because I want to stand up in my power. I want to stand before you, before kings and not mean men. I know who I am because you told me, and I want to be in that person's light. I don't want to be in what I've been lied to about myself, staying in my body. I want to be in my spirit, because I know the power that lies within me. Please allow me to be obedient to what you place in my intuition, as I have been more faithful lately. I do not fear that I cannot be faithful now, but I do have a fear that I may not be faithful over time, long enough, consistently. So I ask that you bring consistency into my spirit, that you remind me, using every single thing on this world to remind me every day the covenant I had with you. And that covenant is I will make myself pure daily to be used by you. I will make myself pure daily to be used by a higher power. And that I will not run away just because things are not looking like I want. Look, I'm praising you now, God, because things are going so well for me, because you're blessing me so much. But God, I know there's going to be a point where I'm not going to look at that like this. I just know it. It's happened so many times. I know there's going to be a point where I'm just going to feel down and about, and I'm going to have a desire to want to drink, want to smoke, want to watch porn, want to have sex with a bunch of women. I know it's going to come, Lord. The temptation is going to come. I just know it. But what I'm asking you is for strength and fortitude. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I know I can't be perfect. If I could have been, I would have just been with you in heaven by now. You know what I'm saying? So God, I know if I was perfect already, you'd take me and put me in heaven. But I'm not. So God, please give me the strength and fortitude to stay away from temptation. In fact, don't even send some of them my way. I know I'm a good looking man, but don't send these women my way that's not adding value to me, Lord. Send me some beautiful beings, some Christian women that's going to elevate, that's going to bring me closer to you, God. God, I can't handle that temptation. I'm too weak. I really can't handle it. So please fortify me with your strength so I could be stronger. Because I know how weak I am, God. But I'm trying to be stronger, though. I gotta yearn for your love. And I'm speaking for you. I'm working for you more and more. I'm being unapologetic about it. I want to thank you for the work, for the growth. In the last couple of years, I could not have spoken like this because I was so ashamed, God. It's as if you came and you washed away my shame, God. I don't even understand how I'm doing this right now, praying on a live, talking about my vices. Oh, God, you have blessed me so much. You've blessed me so much, God. You blessed me. I want to thank you. Thank you for your blessing, getting rid of the shame, the guilt. Lord, I've been so hurt by guilt and shame. You just came and swept it away like it wasn't even there, God. I've just been so worried about what other people think about me, and you just swept it away like it's not even there. God, I don't need people validation anymore, God. I don't even need my Father's validation. You worked so much within me because you validated me in heaven. Lord, I just think I am beyond grateful for your presence. I am beyond grateful for the work you've been doing, and not just in my life, but I'm seeing it in the culture, Lord. I'm seeing it in my peers. I'm seeing it in people's statuses, God. And you doing such amazing things right now. And however way I can serve you, God, please allow me to be of service to you. And forgive me for my sins, though, because I am a sinner. I've sinned so many times. I've dishonored you, my parents at times, my friends, my temple, and I ask that you restore honor within me every day. Amongst those I've dishonored, amongst my mom, my dad, my sister, my brothers, my cousins. Please place me where you want me to be so that I can not only serve them from an emotional, spiritual standpoint, but from a financial standpoint. Please bless me. You've already blessed me, but Lord, please increase my level of obedience, because you give me everything I need right now, but I know I need to be more obedient. So help me be more obedient. Nudge me if you must. I'm ready for it. You know, take the belt out, God. I'll take the whooping. I'd rather you whoop me than the devil, because the devil don't like me, but you do. So please whoop me as much as you can. Make me straight so I can act right. Forgive me for I've said so many times. But I know that you've forgiven me already. And allow me to be forgiveful. No resentment towards anybody. Forgiving anybody that's come my way. Forgive those who trespass against me. Allow me to forgive those who speak negative.